With the release of Mortal Kombat 1 right around the corner, and with Mortal Kombat being my favourite game franchise of all time, I thought it was the perfect time to cover Mortal Kombat 11. With 59 trophies on the line, let's waste no time in getting to that delicious Platinum trophy. For it, we're going to have to fight, do a little bit of fighting, and end with a touch of, well, fighting. So make sure you like and subscribe for more videos, and let's begin. Oh, and worth saying, folks, is that this video, of course, is going to be censored quite a bit. YouTube hates the Mortal Kombat series, so I apologise. However, there is a censor-free version on my Patreon, so feel free to go check that out. Anyway, welcome to the Achievement Grind. Now, there is honestly a bit to do with Mortal Kombat 11, from the campaigns, the Towers of Time, the online, and the crypt. So we're going to have to cover all of our bases here, and the perfect start for me is simply the campaign. And folks, for the sake of time, I'm also not going to be going through every single fight that you have, just the plot points and whatnot, as there is plenty of fighting and death to come. The campaign starts with the demise of Shinnok from Mortal Kombat 10. Raiden has once again given into darkness and corruption for Earthrealm's betterment. The conversation between the two Elder Gods goes about as well as you'd expect. Shinnok, being an Elder God, he cannot die. However, being decapitated and left on the table isn't exactly what I'd call the advantages of immortality. When Raiden leaves to go and brag about his cool new red lightning look, the rain stops and Kronika enters the lair. Kronika is a titan, something that is far stronger than an Elder God, and is actually Shinnok's mother. Seeing her son decapitated doesn't really fill her with joy though, so being the keeper of time, she decides that it's time for a new era. We then cut to Ronda Rousey, Sonya, giving her daughter Cassie a promotion in the Special Forces. With every chapter of this game's campaign, you focus on a different character, and Cassie is our first. Raiden appears as if from nowhere and decides that a mission to the Netherrealm is needed, as Liu Kang and Kitana have been corrupted and need taking down quick. With Raiden and the Special Forces at the temple doors, Raiden creates a pretty intense diversion, whilst the Special Forces break in and set to destroy the cathedral. The diversion works for the most part, however we still have to deal with a couple of characters that caught wind of us, and honestly this scene is one of many that just absolutely kick ass. Mortal Kombat have always been really good at focusing on the story aspects of their games, however this scene just proves how good action can be in Mortal Kombat. Look at Mortal Kombat's trailers throughout their history. They know what they're doing. They kick ass. As Cassie, we then kick and punt our way through Kabal and Kitana while Sonya and her team set the charges on the base. Unfortunately though, Liu Kang's interference causes Sonya and her team to be trapped under rubble. We quickly move Liu Kang out of the way, but even with our quick beatings, it's too late. Sonya orders Cassie and her team to leave while she stays back and, well, harakiris herself really. Cassie is in pieces about it, but they leave. They rendezvous with Raiden and escape as the castle collapses on top of Sonya. Oh hell, she really dead. With the cathedral collapsing, Liu Kang and Kitana are now extremely vulnerable. However, a certain bald bastard appears to help. Kronika, of course. She is fed up with Raiden interfering with her plans, and to prove that she is Johnny Big Bollocks, she rewinds time and immediately rebuilds the cathedral in full. Kronika's plan is to restart the timeline and make a new era so that Raiden cannot live to ruin her plans, with the power of something called her hourglass. But even her power isn't strong enough to do what she wants, so she will need help and, more importantly, an army. She sets her plan in motion by immediately bringing back old versions of characters, including the dead, such as Shao Kahn, Jade, uncorrupted Liu Kang, and even uncorrupted Raiden. Shit, everyone's back. And I must admit, if you're not that familiar with Mortal Kombat, the constant timeline resets and throwbacks can make this all very complicated and convoluted, so I'm going to try to spell it out as best as I can. Here, let me make a handy little diagram to show you exactly who is against who. On one side we have old Raiden, Kotal Kahn, and the younger alive versions of many characters that fight for peace and trying to stop Kronika. On the other side, Kronika, Shao Kahn, the bad guys, and the dead Revenant versions of past heroes. The new characters that we see were brought in from the time of Mortal Kombat 9 during the first tournament, decades before current events. And with Shao Kahn back, he wants his throne back too. However, Kotal Kahn doesn't want to give up that fancy chair just yet, so a war immediately begins. This moment truly is a Royal Rumble, however Kotal, for once, gets the upper hand. So my favourite bug lady ever comes in to save his bacon. In Devora's hive, the Collector explains to Shao Kahn the events of the last couple of decades, until Kronika enters to explain things further. She rambles on about, sorry, what was it again, Kronika?
The new era.
Oh yeah, her new era. She enlists Shao Kahn's army to fight for her, as she promises him an empire in which, you've guessed it, Raiden won't be there. And of course, Shao accepts. Whilst this is going on, the Special Forces group get used to their previous younger selves popping up as well, which is a lot for Cassie seeing Johnny, considering, you know, that Sonya died like 10 minutes ago. However, the Netherrealm are attacking the Wuxi Academy, and Liu Kang and Kung Lao need to go and protect it as the forces of evil cannot get their hands on the life force that it contains, as Kronika needs that to further her plan. When they arrive, the entire academy has been invaded and attacked, and dead monks litter every path. Upon entering, we get attacked by an old, angry, edgy Scorpion, Jade the queen of spamming uppercuts, and of course the evil version of Liu Kang and Kung Lao. However, as you'd expect, we paced our way through ourselves rather nicely, and that is a rather odd sentence of course, but sod it. This is where we meet Geras, a new Mortal Kombat character and Kronika's right-hand man. He is immortal and comes back stronger every time he gets killed, which Kung Lao immediately puts to the test.
That was easy.
Yeah, sod that. However, Geras also has the power of time and sands, so he freezes us in place because he's a filthy cheater and takes the life force from the Wuxi Academy. Whilst this is going on, good version of Sub-Zero and Scorpion are also infiltrating the Lin Kuei base, Sub-Zero's clan that has apparently restarted its cyber initiative, which is bad news bears for everybody. They are both here to find out who started it again and to stop it from continuing. Now, of course, since it's the cyber initiative, Sector and Cyrax are here as well, but we find out that the person in charge of restarting the program is actually Frost, an old student of Sub-Zero who became so hungry for power that she'll do pretty much anything for it. Frost now works for Kronika, who promises her a clan of her own, and she has started the cyber initiative to give Kronika another army to fight for her. We paced them easily because I am simply constructed in a well-made fashion, and with the help of Cyrax after we turn him, we ruin their programming. So instead, Kronika employs Kano and Kano to perfect Sector and replicate him instead, so they still get their army, I guess. However, without knowing where Kronika or Shao Kahn are, they cannot attack and stop any of their plans. So Jade sets off to get some information, and who better to ask than the best bug lady in all of the land? Oh, Devora, don't worry my sweet, I'm sure we'll see you in MK1 in some capacity. Right, Ed Boon? Right. However, since Devora only serves herself, she gives up the location straight away. Turns out that they are hidden in a Tarkatan camp. They go in to investigate, however things don't go exactly to plan, and instead Kotal and Jade get captured by Shao. Because a lot is going on in this campaign and I'm just trying to sum it up as best as I can, the special forces are once again also under attack by Kano and his goons. We play as Johnny as we must protect our past self, since it is shown that damage to younger versions definitely affects the old. But new Sector is here as well to show off some vast improvements that Kano made to him. However, I think Kano should go back to the drawing board some more, as it's nowhere near enough for the man that took down Shinnok. Now, even though Johnny is beating everybody up around the block, he does get put down with a cheeky shot from Kano and a threat of past self-death. So they take the leave and Sector decides to stay behind to blow himself up and destroy the base. But more on Johnny and Sonya later. For now, we must rescue Jade, Kotal, and prove to Queen Shiva and Baraka that siding with the good guys will have its benefits when this is all over. Now, Liu Kang and Kung Lao's plan to sneak in with Katana as bait also doesn't exactly work. However, we do manage to stop Scarlet from killing Jade with blood magic. So when that goes tits up, we instead go to kick Scarlet's tits in. And when we beat her, finally folks, we have our first trophy. Oh, that took long enough, eh? But this is the halfway point of the campaign, and for getting here, we unlock halfway there. Trust me folks, the trophies will be rolling in after we finish this as well. However, with this act of service and our promise, Baraka says that he will join forces with Kotal and to his Tarkatan army. With this, Queen Shiva of the Shogun race will also join suit. We jump back to Shao taking back his throne and almost ridding Kotal Khan of brain, and, well, any other matter that he owns really. But right on cliche cue, the good guys arrive to cut this bitch down. The plan works fine, I guess. Shao Kahn gets hit with some pocket sand. However, since Shao Kahn hates sand since, you know, it's coarse, it's rough, it's irritating, and it gets everywhere, he retaliates by just outright paralyzing Kotal. But before he can finish the job, Katana stands in against her adoptive dad and gives her dad a long-awaited present: blindness. But with that, Katana has proven herself to be the perfect person to lead Outworld. Kotal Khan relinquishes his throne, and now Katana Khan rules. Now, we find out that Kronika's keep is on an island, but to get there, we're going to need the help of Charon the Ferryman, as we have to cross the Blood Sea, and that is no easy feat. Now, honestly, the next couple of chapters are pretty much filler content. The next has us escape Kano's complex as Johnny and Sonya. Nothing too much eventful happens here, really. Well, nothing except Kano getting an impromptu eye test. And the next chapter has us play as Jackie trying to stop Kronika from collecting her crown, something else that she needs in order to power the hourglass and restart time. And yeah, our plan fails and she gets the crown. Now finally, a chapter with some substance. In the next we play as Scorpion, as he goes to see Charon. Now unfortunately for him, we're not the first to arrive, as Devora is already here and torturing the poor bloke something rotten. We of course put an end to it with a rather trendy back spear, but after we put her into the floor we get visited by the ghost of Christmas Rage, as old Scorpion returns to mock current Scorpion for ruining his clan. Well, let's see who's better, old or present. Let me give you a clue. Old wins, easily. However, we start to talk some sense into the old Scorpion. We tell him that Kronika is to blame here and what actually happened to his clan. However, before we can become brothers in arms, Devora comes back and gives Scorpion a little sting of his own, and scuttles off before she can take further pain. Now, I don't know about you, but 2 Scorpions is too much, so the present one dies. Old Scorpion then has a change of fate and goes back to swear his loyalty to the good guys. Now, it does take a moment and a couple of fights to convince them that I'm not the angry Scorpion anymore. My god, I've said Scorpion far too much. Anyway, convincing Raiden takes the most. In fact, his evil side once again makes an appearance. After all, Shinnok's amulet is influencing him. But he's realising that he's changing and puts a stop to it immediately. Aw, we love some character development. However, before we can get all happy that everybody's nice again, Kronika appears to say, "Why are you even bothering? I control time, and I have fought with you for 1,000 timelines." And to really drive it home that she wants to win, she just kidnaps Liu Kang as well. Talk about fighting dirty. With both Liu Kangs, they can combine souls and become absolutely unstoppable. So with no further delay, it's time to do a Jack Black and storm the gate. With ships of the good guys and armies upon armies, it's going to take a hell of a lot to stop them. But Kronika certainly tries. Firstly with the Cyber Army courtesy of Sector and Kano. Geras tries to help them win, but instead we send him into the Sea of Blood. Now the cool thing about this is that Geras of course is immortal, and the Sea of Blood is bottomless, so he's just gonna fall forever. That's barbaric, and I love it. But since we're winning and getting closer, Liu Kang appears to stop them, and he is mega ultra powerful now, thanks to the soul of good Liu Kang. I know, complicated, I'm sorry, I'm trying. But realising that this Liu Kang won't stop, Raiden does the impossible. He shocks Liu Kang into a rather impressive upgrade. Revenant Liu Kang, normal Liu Kang, and Raiden fuse together to become one. Raiden is no longer an Elder God. Now, it's Lord Liu Kang. And let's be frank, this is pretty badass. However, no more stalling. It's time to kill Kronika. We storm the island in spectacular cinematic fashion and carve our way through the resistance like hot knife through some rather tepid butter. And if you think this is pretty cool as is, well, this happens next. I mean, come on, is that not a scene just straight out of an anime? I told you, NetherRealm just do not miss when it comes to action. Let's go kill this bitch. We fight our way to the Titan herself, and after taking care of her pathetic attempt of bodyguards, it's time to face Kronika and end this. Now, honestly, fighting Kronika sucks. She is easily the worst boss NetherRealm have ever made to fight, as you can't combo her. She has constant armor, and it just makes the fight really boring. I can't lie. However, what's not boring is Kronika restarting the timeline mid-fight. We go back to the Jurassic time, so we continue to whoop her, and thankfully it works. With one final shot from the fire god himself, we freeze Kronika in glass and shatter her. Kronika is no more. When we do, Raiden appears again, but merely Raiden now. He has fully given Liu Kang his powers, and now he is a certified Elder God, whilst Raiden is just a human. Haha, idiot. Imagine giving up Elder God powers, what a fool. Now, there is a problem though. Kronika starting to reverse time cannot be undone. So instead, Liu Kang starts from the very beginning and decides to make his own timeline. One of warmth and peace. Oh, and he also brought back Katana so he could have some nookie on the side when he's bored of being a literal god. But they embrace, and that's Mortal Kombat 11's campaign. Now, I know that was a hell of a lot of information that I've just thrown at you for very specific characters and stories. I tried to narrate it in a way where fans and strangers to Mortal Kombat might understand, understand, and as I said, I know it's complicated, but yeah, I hope I did it justice, because it's honestly a fantastic campaign. But with that, we unlock our second trophy, What's Next, for completing it. And after that, what's next, you ask? Well, a hell of a lot so far, as we've only got 2 measly trophies, but trust me folks, we're going to start unlocking a lot of them now, and you'll see why. Now, after the campaign, my thoughts were to brush up on my knowledge of fighting by going through the tutorials so that I could be best prepared to tackle the online trophies. So to the tutorials that we go. These show you the basics of fighting all the way to the data input so that you can learn every single nook and cranny that you need to be the best fighter out there. And by doing these tutorials through to completion, we also unlock 3 more trophies, hit the dojo, ready to compete, and no bad matchups. Time to go online. Now to begin with, I wanted to get a very easy one out of the way with. King of the Hill is a mode in which you all fight for the hot seat and the winner stays on. Whilst you spectate others' fights, when they finish you can rate them from 1 to 10. For this trophy we have to award a total of 100 respect points. We did so on our 10th viewing and unlocked respect. Now time for online proper. Now the trophy I was going for was to complete 50 player matches, however during these I will also be trying to grind some of the longer trophies as well. So to start with, after I win every match I will perform a mercy, which basically gives your opponent a little bit more health and another opportunity to win. And we're also going to finish the fight with as many brutalities and fatalities that we can. So we loaded into our first match as my Queen Devourer and got to work. Now it had been about a year since I had a fight online, but the mechanics and gameplay felt so smooth and just came back to me so quickly, and with every hit I was getting more of my old mojo back. In fact, we were doing so well that this is how my very first online match ended.
Will it be this easy?
Round 2, fight.
This one relishes your death.
Devourer wins. Flawless victory.
Oh, I was feeling myself, proper buttered up I was. So we carried on, and match after match we were just getting stronger, and I was getting much more comfortable with the movements and the mechanics, which honestly can be quite intense. Now a couple of matches went by and we unlocked the next trophy, as every character has 2 fatalities that they can perform, and you get a trophy for performing both on every character in the game. So by doing both of Devourers, we unlocked Bugging Out. By now we were also really starting to get a decent win-loss rate, so we just need to keep pushing online, and I was amazed that we won so many of these fights. Also picking up the Mercy trophy that I just mentioned for performing one 10 times, unlocking Not Dead Yet. Mixing it up, we also started to dabble with a bit of Baraka, since I love his character as well, and by performing both of his fatalities we unlocked Thrashed. Now the next trophy made me feel like a little bit of a bell end, as it has us duck 100 times in a single match. It essentially forced me to become the most toxic teabagger in the game, but trophy bound we had to do it. Now fortunately the next opponent was a Jade player, so I didn't feel bad in the slightest. We spammed duck as much as we possibly could, and at that beautiful 100 mark unlocked, oh my days. However, the magic number is now here, as finally we have our 50th player match and unlocked competitor. With a final victory over a Scorpion, we rest our head and exit multiplayer. With that, multiplayer is mostly ticked off. Now, I also wanted another couple of easy trophies done and dusted after this, as it's time for the AI Battle Simulators, a really bizarre mode in which you pick 3 characters and they fight another team's online characters as you simply watch them at incredible speeds. Definitely a worthless game mode in my opinion, and only good for the achievements, but we unlocked my AI Can Do It for completing 10 and Puppet Master for completing 25. Odd, but sod it, it's done now. Now, as you can imagine, a bulk of the trophies were for the characters' fatalities, so it's time to do those. Now, honestly folks, I'm not going to read out every single one, as it would just be me going, and then we did Jades, and then we did Katanas, and then we did Cabal. It's just, yeah, nobody wants that. So we played a couple of matches with every single character, and by doing everybody's fatalities in the game, we unlocked a whopping 22 trophies. And now you understand why that number was so low, eh? But that's not all folks, as by doing 15 fatalities we unlocked Deadly Encounter, and for doing 30 different fatalities we also unlocked Moida. Then for spilling 10,000 pints of blood throughout the game we also unlocked Blood in the Water. Christ, that was a lot of achievements just ticked off there, bloody hell. With that out of the way with, it is now time to start the bulk of the grind, the Towers of Time. The Towers of Time have you face round after round of enemies with fun and interesting quirks like being able to bring in cameo fighters, or the entire match being played in the dark, for example. There is an absolute boatload of game types here. Now the first has us join forces with 2 other players on an extremely difficult tower fight. Consider this an enormous boss fight basically. However, we don't need to worry about actually winning the fight, as just by playing in a group battle with a full lobby we unlock the next trophy, Teamwork. With that out of the way with, it's time for the true towers. Now for a trophy, we need to complete a basic tower with 10 different characters, so we got to work. Now these fights are pretty easy to be honest for the most part, so with our characters we just started to burn through them at a wonderful pace. After completing the first tower with Devourer of course, we unlocked both Classic for completing it and Thank You for being a fan for reaching the credits. We of course did this 9 other times, and I'll be honest, I was absolutely loving playing this game again after so long, and none of this so far was a chore at all. The hours were zooming by and so were the trophies. And when we completed the 10th tower and the 10th character, we also unlocked I Want It All. Oh, I forgot to say, we also unlocked the first brutality related trophy as well by performing 25 in total. Brutalities get a lot easier once you know 1 or 2 with your favourite character of choice, but they can still take quite a bit to do. And they kill your opponent in different ways, as instead of putting in an input when their character is a touch wobbly, instead you must finish your last combo with a particular hit. If you perform it correctly, it will instantly kill the enemy instead, and we have to do this 75 more times for another trophy. Now before we continue with more of the bulk of this grind, let me introduce you to the Crypt, a small little exploration game mode in which you travel across Shang Tsung's island opening chests that grant a variety of rewards, except for the most case they just give you consumables to apply in the towers, so they're pretty naff reward wise. However, here we also scratch off a couple more trophies. The first item we picked up was Shao Kahn's hammer, and with it we could not resist the urge to hit a gong. When we do, we unlock the trophy enough already. Next we found the Nicnaden Shrine, a gambling machine if you will, as you feed it well-earned coins for a random reward. The more money you put in, the better the reward. However, there is a trophy here, so we throw 50,000 coins into its pot immediately and unlock Gimme That Money. Now throughout the playthrough of the Crypt, it turns out that our character has ran over 5 miles altogether, and by doing so we also unlock the next trophy, My Magic Shoes. Now since we had done a lot of work here in the game already, we had already killed Devourer 25 times. By doing so we unlocked her severed head, and by finding her place in the Crypt and impaling said head on a spike, we unlocked a bunch of rewards for Devourer, as well as the next trophy, Skull Kebab. Almost done now folks. Next we found Scorpion Spear and used it to split 50 bodies in half. No idea why? I actually felt quite cruel for these poor bastard humans that have clearly been through a lot. However, trophy bound, we separated the last one and unlocked Get Over Here. And finally folks, we just have to unlock a bunch of chests. Now as I said, you don't unlock hardly anything of substance here, but we slowly made our way through more and more, and when we hit that beautiful 200 mark, we unlocked the final Crypt achievement, Grave Robber. Again, with that done, it's time to return to the towers. Now for the next 2 trophies that I had my eyes on. And yes, one of them's Devourer specific, and no, I do not have a Devourer problem. Okay, maybe I do, but it's irrelevant. Now, one of Devourer's special moves is a bug version of herself. Now, when she is near death, she can erupt into a beautiful butterfly, and for the next trophy, we need to kill an opponent with it. Now, this can be tricky, however, with enough perseverance, it's totally doable. So we do just that. We erupt, we kill, and we unlock Total Disrespect. The other trophy was again a simple one, like the teabagging trophy from earlier. All we had to do this time was flip our stance 50 times in a match. Extremely easy, and once spammed enough we unlock Disco's Not Dead. But for now we just continued cracking on with the Towers of Time, as we need to fully complete 250 of these for 2 achievements and definitely the pain of the grind. So we plodded on and simply had fun, also unlocking some more trophies on the way of course. Now as I said, you can unlock consumables in the Crypt that will allow you to change the match by giving yourself buffs and such as cameo fighters or a row of nuclear bombs at your disposal for example. And there are 2 achievements tied to using consumables. So for using 50 we unlocked more power, which is quite nice but not as nice as a nice round 100, and when we got there we also unlocked Consumed. Wonderful. Now the specific Towers of Time that we were grinding were the character specialty ones, where you play a bunch as one particular person, and with every round completed you unlock a bunch of amazing gear for said character, like skins, brutalities, intros and victories. And since we need to unlock a bunch of intros and victory poses for more trophies, I thought it was best to go through these Towers of Times. They definitely take a while and can start to feel like a bit of a drag after playing for hours and hours. However, unlike the Crypt, they are worth the rewards. So we kept on working and eventually unlocked enough victory poses and intros for the next 2 trophies. So when we applied our 5th different victory pose, we unlocked Victorious, and when we applied our 5th different intro, we unlocked Have We Met. But with that folks, we only have 3 more trophies left. To complete 125 towers, 250 towers, and to get to 100 brutalities. And we knew we were able to get the brutality one whilst just going through the towers, so it's time to get to work. Now fortunately, through all of our effort, we very quickly arrived at that 100 brutality, and by erasing an opponent as Nightwolf, we unlocked Psychopath. Now folks, it's time for the grind, just to complete the towers. Now honestly, I was a little bit drained at this point. I'd been playing MK11 non-stop for maybe about 3 days now, and I was ready for the grind to be over, especially since getting to the 250 mark can be absolutely soul destroying. So I have to admit that I cheesed it. Now I didn't break any rules or cheat in any way, but it is a touch cheesy, I just can't lie. Now to add to the 250 total completed, you need to fully complete a tower. However, there is a specific tower that is completely endless. So since it's endless, it gives you the option to finish the tower manually straight away by just leaving, and that still counts as one. So we reloaded the same tower over and over, we backed out and just waited for it to pop. Now I do try to avoid being dirty for trophies, however I thought this one was justified as I wasn't doing anything that wasn't already programmed in. So instead of honestly about maybe 30 or 40 more hours of grinding, we just started to blast through them quickly. After about 15 minutes of starting, we got to 125 and unlocked Tower Champion. And from there we just carried on doing the same thing as quickly as possible, and about 2 hours later we hit the final match. We left, and when we did, we unlocked the final trophy, Master of Time, as well as gaining that absolutely scrumptious shiny platinum trophy, Elder God. With that complete, Mortal Kombat 11 is done and dusted for the second time, as fun fact, this was the first game that I ever got to 100% on Steam. And for now, the grind is over. Now, Mortal Kombat 11. My god, I adored this game. I know this can be a bit of a divisive entry in the MK series because it's not as fast-paced or combo-heavy as MKX, and trust me, I definitely missed the over-the-top combo potential of MKX and MK9. However, MK11 is the most polished Mortal Kombat that we have ever had, without question. The characters, for the most part, are fantastic and beautifully designed. The most important part of the game is the combat, and NetherRealm has nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Don't get me wrong, as I said, I missed the combo potential, and there were some things that weren't mechanically the best, but the combat is rewarding, smooth, and every character genuinely feels different. The amount of content in this fighting game is incredible, simply incredible. Now, don't get me wrong, it does have its flaws. Kronika as a boss absolutely sucks, and I feel like she was a lot of wasted potential, as well as some mechanical changes from MKX like the breakaways, which really didn't gel well. But for the most part of this is easily one of my favourite Mortal Kombat games. However, with Mortal Kombat 1 so close, I cannot wait to see how it feels and plays 4 years later. And fun fact, on launch day, the grind will begin on my Twitch channel, and I will be live almost every day, all day, racing to get this 100%, as I'm setting myself a challenge. I want to be the first person to get every trophy for this game. So you should come by, it would be lovely to have you, and, you know, you might see something quite special. Anyway, enough plugging myself shamelessly. Let's get to the stats. For Mortal Kombat 11, it took us just over 29 hours to gain all 59 trophies that it has to offer. For me, I'm easily going to be giving this game an 8.5 out of 10. As I said, this is as near perfect as it gets. However, Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay looks like it's going to be the best yet, so maybe that one will get the 10 out of 10. For difficulty of the achievements, I'm also going to be giving this a 4 out of 10. There is nothing inherently much that you'll really struggle with. The only thing that will take its time is the brutality achievement or the Towers of Time, depending on whether or not you want to cheese them. For the most difficult achievement, I would give this to the Masters of Time. However, if you cheese it like I did, it's actually one of the easiest. Just a little bit time consuming. So instead, I'm going to be giving it to perform 100 brutalities. Now, it may sound daft, but this is one that will just take a while. You will have to work for it and hope that things connect in the right way. So surprisingly, I'm actually going to be giving it to Psychopath. However, folks, there we go. And as I said, I physically cannot wait for Mortal Kombat 1. So I'll hopefully see you on there in September. For now though, please like and subscribe, as next week we start the end of an era, as Kronika would say. Previously on the channel, we have covered BioShock 1, 2, and all of the DLCs that go with it. And next week is part 1 of the highly requested BioShock Infinite. How will the grind go, as instead of underwater, we're above the clouds? Well, come back next week to find out. Also, folks, need to say a massive thanks once again to my supporters over on Patreon. I really appreciate it. And if you're interested in uncensored grinds, early access, giveaways, and behind the scenes for the achievement grind, feel free to check it out yourselves. But that's it from me today, folks. Thank you all again so much for watching, and I hope to see you all very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.